Hi, my name is Diana Britton, Executive Editor of Wealth Management, and I'm here talking with Jon Stevenson, Co-Founder and President of Astraeus. Jon, can you start by just telling us a little bit about Astraeus?
Astraeus is AI native infrastructure designed specifically for the wealth management industry. We've taken a very foundational approach to the design and architecture of the platform. Specifically, I spent my career in wealth management, always on the product, platform, and strategy side of the business. My co-founder, Phil Rosen, is a serial fintech entrepreneur, and he's spent his career building at the intersection of big data, machine learning, and infrastructure. And so when we looked at the transformational impact that AI is going to have on wealth management, we really wanted to take a foundational approach going back to first principles. And for us, that means we really actually designed the core architecture around the primitives of the Investment Advisors Act, which gives us a common taxonomy, framework, set of business rules, regulatory considerations to design that architecture and infrastructure that then naturally applies to every single firm that participates in the industry.
That's fantastic. It seems like you guys are really looking to the future of the wealth management industry and trying to build something based on that. I mean, where do you see the wealth management landscape heading, in the next 5 years?
Yeah, it's a great question. We are going to see a lot of change. We'll see more change in the next 5 years than we've seen in the preceding 30. We truly believe it. I think it's going to be transformational for the existing market participants. The first order of change will be around agentic automation of a lot of the manual processes that occur across every functional area of the wealth management organization today. I think that'll be wave one. At the same time, we're going to see a transformation in terms of the FA, an advisor and client relationship that we think will be transformed for the better as advisors are able to take a more holistic approach through a broader set of considerations as it applies to serving the client. And AI will empower that kind of more holistic single view of client that has been the aspiration of the industry for years and years. Thirdly, it's also going to be very interesting to watch the firms that are launched from this day forward that are agentic and AI native right from the outset. And what does that platform look like? What does that client proposition look like? Because they've got the benefit of starting with a blank sheet of paper, in a new technological stage effectively. So I think it's going to be very fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I think a lot of firms are looking at AI. How do you implement it? What are some of the challenges in terms of implementation for AI in wealth management industry?
Great, thanks, Anna. That's a great question. Look, the challenges are consistent with the challenges of change and integration in wealth management. I mean, we all know the story, right? The wealth management industry has been notoriously fragmented in terms of the operating environment for a given firm. It's not uncommon to see 10, 20, 30 different vendor platforms inside of even a mid-sized organization, all performing important but distinct tasks. So that creates a fragmented operating environment and a fragmented data environment. At the same time, we know AI is best applied and best leveraged when there's consistent context across a single data landscape. And so, the challenge for organizations is to how to establish organizational data cohesion that spans the full surface area of the firm. And that goes beyond a single data lake or a data consolidation exercise. AI needs to think more broadly about the firm as we want every single participant of the organization to be on that single infrastructure layer in order to drive optimized outcomes and consistent and repeatable outcomes.
What should wealth firms consider when developing their AI strategy?
We tend to start with clients and say, let's look at high friction areas or high ROI use cases that sit at the intersection of rich data sets that are historically, or in the current state, they represent sort of breaks in the sidewalk, where maybe there's a lot of manual handoff, but a lot of stakeholders relying on a single data set. That is the perfect setup for agentic automation. Right out of that first use case, you create a core or a kernel of AI capability that can then be extended sort of throughout the organization.
Yeah, I think it can be a little bit overwhelming when firms think about implementing AI and there's so many tools out there. Is there anything else that they should, what should firms be doing to get started? Is it looking at that one use case that you were just talking about?
I think so. I think the use case approach is a great approach. The other thing that's very interesting about this time with AI is that I think it's a very exciting time for the small and mid-sized firms, right? Historically, new technology comes out, the larger firms are first to move, they've got the massive tech budgets, right? But larger firms have more complicated operating environments. And the cost to implement AI is manageable at a firm level. And so the most rapid advances in the first mover, those benefits are going to massively accrue to the firms that have got the more cohesive infrastructure layer, more cohesive understanding of data. And in many cases, that's going to be the smaller firms. So I think it's going to be very fascinating. It's a great equalizer, in our opinion, that it's all firms can get massive leverage, and the benefits aren't just going to accrue to the top 20 firms.
Yeah, the data is really key.
Exactly, data is key. Understanding your business holistically, thinking more broadly about the data layer. We think it's important to think about you want to codify the entirety of your business inside of your agentic layer. This goes branch locations, FA licenses, investment advisory programs, discretionary, non-discretionary programs, asset allocation models and portfolios, custodial books and records, CRM, right? In the end state, that entire data layer, that entire surface area of the firm will be represented in the agentic layer. And at that point, whether the CEO, the CCO, the CFO, you're in operations, you're on the front lines as an advisor, that entire team will be operating off of the single and the same interface layer, and that's going to unlock transformational capabilities for these organizations that can get there.
That's great. This has just been a great conversation with Jon Stevenson at Astraeus. Jon, thank you so much.
It's great, Diana. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.